Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 10th of July 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. There's always a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so also just a quick mentioning of our JFD Bank YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of the videos that are coming out, and also our research page here on our website, which you can check out, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here. So, but for now, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the DXY. I continue talking about this one for this whole week, and I've talked about this one last week as well. So after we managed to break this downside resistance line here, taken from the high of the 23rd of May, the index kind of traveled a little bit higher. It wasn't such a strong move, but what I was saying in my previous video is basically if we see a push above the 97.40 zone, then yep, in a way this could increase the chances for DXY to kind of drift a little bit higher here and aim for the 97.77 or the 97.80 zones. So good potential areas of resistance here. Of course, do not forget that we do have some big news coming out today. So we do have the Fed Chair Powell speaking today. Of course, then we do get the later on in the evening we do get the FOMC minutes. So we may see a bit of movement here in the dollar. So that's why, guys, be very careful on this one. Keep your eyes on it. And like I said, for now, just judging from this current picture, yes, it seems to be willing to travel higher. Actually, let me just adjust this line here. We no longer need it. But in terms of the downside, what you could do here is keep an eye on this upside support line. And let me just put this one very quickly here on the chart. This one here, so this is a bit of a tentative one, I do understand that, but in a way, if we see even a slide back down, a small slide back down, as long as it remains above this upside support line and in a way remains above the 97.40 zone, well, I mean, still everything's going to be looking quite positive here for DXY, and we could see this one traveling, like I said, towards this area right here near the 97.77 or the 97.80 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. If this gets a nice good break, this little territory for us is going to be a bit of a neutral one, because in order to kind of aim for lower levels, ideally we would like to see now we would like to see a drop below the 97.18 zone, and only then we will aim for these slightly lower areas. For now, like I said, everything seems to be more positive than negative on for DXY, but then again, like I said, we do have some news coming out today, and keep your eyes on those. This leads us into USDCAD. So because USDCAD is at a very interesting spot, we also get the rate statement from the Bank of Canada and the interest rate decision. So that's why it's going to be very interesting to watch USDCAD today. Currently, it's stuck here below this key area of resistance near the 1.3145. If we get a nice push above this, then in a way this could lead towards some higher areas. And by higher areas, I mean we are still still trading below this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 31st of May. And if we get a nice, good, strong push above the 1.3145 level, then yep, we will aim for the 200 EMA here, which could be near the 1.3230 zone, and like I said, near this downside resistance line as well. So this could be a nice, good potential target for us if this decides to reverse. Now again, as you can see by the chart here, I do have the 1.3030 level as a potential breakout point, but let's say given that we have already kind of distanced well, we have already kind of seen USDCAD kind of moving further away from it. So in a way, from the very short term perspective, what you could do here, or what we could do here, is try to find a potential area of support, which if broken could potentially open the path towards slightly lower areas. And what you could do here is aim for this area right here near the 1.3107, approximately around there, because if we see a drop below this, then in a way this could force the pair to also slide below the 21 EMA here, shown as the yellow line, and maybe even then the 20 EMA here on the 20 SMA on inside the Bollinger Band. So in a way, if a drop below this area, below the 1.310705, something like that, could open the path towards this 1.3030 zone. So be very careful here today. Keep an eye on the price action, and let's see which level it will decide to break through. GBPUSD also very interesting, continues to slide. I mean, it's already kind of difficult to find a good ground for it, because it just continues to slide. So as you can see, it's currently trading below this this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 28th of June, and of course overall, as you can see, it has been on even a bigger slide. So it's basically, we can say that it's not really looking good for GBPUSD. The only thing is that this level right here at 1.2440 seems to be quite an interesting area of support, because as you can see, if I will scroll back into history here, this 1.2440 was marked near the lows of the 2nd of January. So in a way, if we see a drop below the 1.2440, now this could place the pair into kind of the negative territory here, or even actually it would create a new lower low for the year. So that's why, guys, for now we're going to be very careful with this one. If it drops below the 1.2440, then yep, we will start targeting lower areas. And for example, for today, what we could do here is look at these pivot points, and basically initially we'll aim for this 1.2430, which is the S1, and the next our next area of support, potential support, could be near the 1.2395 zone, just 5 pips below the 24 area. So that's why, guys, for now, be very careful. Also, don't forget, we do have the UK GDP figures coming out, and also manufacturing production numbers. So it will be interesting to see how this is going to play out. Could be quite an interesting day today, trading wise. So if, let's say, this decides to reverse back up here and pushes higher and makes a move above the this downside resistance line, this kind of short-term downside resistance line, and pushes above the 1.2480 zone, now this could in a way increase the pair's chances to travel a little bit higher here and aim for some of these previous higher areas. But like I said, for now, what you could do is just continue monitoring this downside line. If we get a nice strong push above it, above this 1.2480, then yep, the next potential target could be around, and let me just get rid of this area here, this 1.25 level, and this is what we're going to be targeting here at the 1.2540 initially, and slightly above that we do have the 1.2560. But like I said, first let's target for that area right here at 1.2540. But like I said, I'll repeat myself, only in the scenario if we see a strong break here through the downside resistance line and a push above the 1.2480. That's of course, like I said, that's what's in regards to the upside. In terms of the downside, I've mentioned previously, like I said, we are waiting for that break here below the 1.2440 before we could examine further declines. EURGBP, now this is quite interesting as well, because yesterday I talked about this pair and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on it, because if we will stay, if the daily candle stays above the 0.8980 level, this in a way could increase the chances for this pair to travel further up here. The only thing is that you can see that it's currently getting held here just slightly, that just fractionally above this this is the psychological at a level which is fractionally above the psychological 0.90 level. So in a way, for now, we're going to just continue observing this price action. If we see a good push above this 0.9002 level, now this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, but the only thing is that we're going to be very careful, because the next potential target could be around the R1, which is around the 0.9010, and then we could aim for the R2. If, let's say, the R1 fails to withhold, we could aim for the R2, which is around the 0.9027. So for now, all eyes are on this area, on this yesterday's high. If it manages to break the yesterday's high, then yep, we will aim for higher levels. If this decides to reverse back down, now what, again, for us, what we're going to do here is we're going to keep an eye on this 0.8980. That's going to be an important level for us. If we see a drop below this, then in a way we could see this one sliding further to the downside. But again, for now, let's see what it wants to do with this psychological 0.90 level, or in other words, or the highest point of yesterday. Let's see if it manages to break that. AUDNZD, very quickly on this one. So this is something that we've posted a while ago, and just kind of wanted to show you just kind of that we managed to reach our target very quickly. So in a way, this worked out nicely. But now what's interesting here is that the pair is, I mean, it managed to break this tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 31st of May. It traveled higher a little bit, but found good resistance near the 1.0540. So this level for now is going to be for us an important one to watch. If we see a push above this one, then we will continue targeting higher levels. Something like this, for example, could play out nicely, the 1.0590, and like I said, then we'll take it from there. But again, in order to consider the upside, we need to see that nice good push above the 1.0540. In terms of the downside here, now this is where it's going to become quite interesting, because of course you can see these huge spikes that we had here overnight. So we did have the RBNZ governor or speaking, so you can see this kind of these sharp moves here in AUDNZD. In a way, what we could do here is keep an eye on this 1.0460 level. Now this is a very tentative area, but let's say if it continues to slide lower, and if it drops below the 1.0460, in a way this could increase the chances for a possible test of this 1.0430, which acted as a good area of support here back on the 1st of July. NZDJPY, also quick mentioning of this one, because we did have a nice drop here as a spike lower, but quickly the bulls were quick to kind of reverse the pair back above this 71.80 zone, and now it seems that it's stuck here slightly below the pivot and below the 50 and the 21 EMAs, but it's above this 71.80 zone, this key area of support, also above its 200 and the 100 EMA. So in a way, for now, we're just going to play the waiting game. In a way, you know, if you want to take a more cautious approach here, what you could do is keep an eye on this area right here near the 72.17. A nice good push above this could lead towards slightly higher levels. If this decides to reverse back down, again, for us, the 71.80 zone, that's the level that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. Then we will look out for this little spike, the low of the spike near the 71.48, 49 zone, something like that. But to be honest, if this is just a temporary obstacle on the bear's path lower, the next potential area of support could be seen somewhere around here initially, maybe near the 71.30, and then we'll take it from there. We'll try to find a lower area at later stage. For now, like I said, we are somewhat neutral in this one, and we're going to continue observing the price action. Like I said, in terms of the upside, if a short-term upside, if we see a push above the 72.17, that's good news. We will then aim for the 72.40, but if this decides to reverse again and drops below the 71.80, then yep, we could start considering the downside. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. If you want to join me later on at my Trader's Tea Time, as always, that's 13:15 GMT time. For now, I hope you have a beautiful trading day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.